Walks of life from the country, from the city, all standing together to say let's protect our underground water and let's protect our ability to feed ourselves into the future. So it's a great honour to be here. I've just come up from very chilly Canberra, so it's nice to get some sun. But unfortunately I think it's not only sun that they're missing down there, it's a bit of common sense. Because we put up a motion in Federal Parliament a few weeks back now to call for a moratorium on coal seam gas until we know what the long-term impacts really are on our underground water, on our food security, on our rural communities, and on our Great Barrier Reef, where all of these export facilities and massive ships are going out and, occasionally running into coral shoals. So we put up that motion and said, look, let's press pause until we really understand what the long-term impacts of this industry is. And everybody but the Greens voted against it. The Nationals, who are meant to be representing the bush on this, the Liberals and the Labor government all voted against pressing pause until we have further information. Now, I don't see what the problem is with the precautionary principle. It's enshrined in much of our laws. We're meant to not proceed if we think we might stuff something up. That's what the precautionary principle says. And unfortunately, none of the other parties are seeing reason on that. So that is why it is so important that you're all here today, and I want to particularly pay tribute to Lock the Gate, who have really been the backbone of this campaign and are turning this into a national movement. It's that sort of national movement that government and other politicians can't ignore. So really, you are giving strength to our hand in Federal Parliament, and it is wonderful to know that we can be the voice of the community in Parliament and we can try and bring some reason to that place. I've got a bill before the Parliament to give landholders, farmers, the right to say no to coal seam gas on their land. Because you might not know that they can't say no at the moment. I mean, it's unbelievable. But a coal seam gas company just has to give notice, and after a few weeks they can come on in and start drilling production wells. This is despite the fact that we don't know what the long-term impact on water is going to be from all this drilling, all this hydraulic fracturing, and we don't know, in fact, whether coal seam gas and agriculture can coexist. We don't think it can, and from all of the stories and the lessons that we're learning from farmers throughout Queensland, it can't coexist. So we are directly threatening our ability to feed ourselves, and we need to be able to give our farmers on our precious 2.2% good quality farmland the right to say no. And yet, Labor, Liberal and the Nationals all again spoke against that bill. They all said, no, look, farmers have got enough rights to say no. No, they don't. And they said, oh, this is a state problem. The federal government shouldn't really be getting involved here. Well, look, if the state government was doing a better job and protecting our rural communities and protecting our food-producing land, we wouldn't need to get involved. I wish we didn't have to get involved. Unfortunately, they are failing miserably. So it's just wonderful and frustrating at the same time to be your voice in the Parliament, but I would like a little bit more company. And that's where you come in. I really want you, thank you for coming here today, but I really want you, when you get home later today, to send some emails or write some letters or send a fax, whatever your preference is, to your state and federal MPs, because they need to know that this is something that you care about and that you actually will change your vote over this. Because unfortunately, that's the only thing that makes them sit up and take notice in my fairly limited experience. That and adverse media coverage. So it's great to see some of the TVs here sending that message loud and clear that you want better from your politicians. And we've had enough of this short-term thinking, this short-term risk to our food-producing land. For what? For a little bit of private profit, a little bit of royalties, and then a vast amount of profit that's mostly going offshore anyway. You and I aren't getting the benefit of this industry. What we get the benefit from is clean, locally produced food, and knowing that our water resources will be there for our grandkids to rely on and enjoy, and knowing that our Great Barrier Reef will be there for all of our visitors and ourselves to enjoy. That's what matters. So thank you for being here, and make sure you let both your state and your federal police know that you expect better, that you will change your vote over this, and that you want a moratorium on coal seam gas until we understand what's at stake. Thanks everyone.